A game changer. An individual who alters the way things are done. They find ways to stand out with their actions and personality. Game changers switch things up and form new strategies and business plans to place them above the competition. Game changers do things differently, thus transforming the landscape. They are the heavy hitters, the risk takers, the creatives who are unafraid to try something new. And when the world turned upside down, they turned inward and got to work, creating new ways to present their music and their art to the world. That didn't mean they didn't face adversity. Game changers rise above it through financial challenges, health struggles, creative blocks. They rise and thrive. This is Black Widow. I am a house music recording artist, writer, and journalist. Join me on my Twitch channel at Danny aka Black Widow. We go live and have a conversation with these game-changing individuals. I wanted to talk to game changers, pick their brains, and find out how they stay creative through it all while handling their business, growing their brands, and creating things for us to consume and enjoy. Be sure to follow me on Twitch at twitch.tv/Danny aka Black Widow. More than just an incredible singer, but one whose voice is anointed to inspire, transform, and uplift, Lady Alma brings an energy to dance floors around the world. Born in San Diego and raised in Philadelphia, Lady Alma began her entry into the house music scene recording club anthems. In 2018, her track, Let It Fall, made a resurgence when the song went viral on Facebook with over 30 million views. The demand for Lady Alma's infectious groove went off the charts. She has been recognized by Traxsource and industry peers as one of the best vocalists in house music. She's worked with super producers such as Terry Hunter, Masters at Work, and fellow Philly mainstay King Britt, and more. In 2019, Lady Alma made her Chosen Few Festival debut, performing at the annual picnic. She returns this year for the 2021 Chosen Few Virtual Festival. I had a chance to speak with this legendary singer and songwriter. Check out my conversation with this game-changing artist, Lady Alma. I wanted to do a different kind of interview series this year, and I really wanted to focus on people that I thought in the middle of such a trying year were able to kind of push through creatively, in spite of everything, and in particular with our artists in our community, because I don't think people understand, the house music community. These are people you guys are people who live, eat off of this, and 2020 was a gut punch to so many people, and there are those who were able to, in spite of it, keep it moving and actually grow, grow their brands, grow their music. And I consider you one of them that had just a amazing year. So that's why I wanted to talk to you. You're a game changer, sis. So
Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Seriously.
So I wanted to start with the beginning, the beginning of the pandemic. We've talked to different creatives that have this moment where the first 2 weeks, gigs are being canceled, tours are being canceled, things left and right. And what was your initial response when all of this was happening in the beginning?
I panicked. I panicked because all of my gigs seem to have gotten canceled all in the same week. And I had a lot of gigs leading up to 2021. And everything just got chopped. So I would say initially I panicked,
Hmm.
because I was like, well, how am I going to pay bills? How am I going to such and such? And I did run into a few things that were negative, but I must say that, sometimes you have to go through it to get to it.
Mm.
And I'm here, I'm
Yes.
alive, I'm, healthy, you know, and still in a creative mind state. Even sometimes when I get a little down, sometimes I think it's just natural that,
Mm.
just being human that you get down. But, I still have the hope.
Yeah.
I still have the hope.
Did you have a moment in the beginning where you were kind of, I know Terry talked about a minute where he wasn't in the studio. He was like, I got to figure out what's going on, and he wasn't in like a creative space. Did you have a moment in the beginning where it was like, let me figure out what's happening and how I need to move differently? Did you have that moment initially?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I did. I had to regroup. And so for like, I would have to say about maybe the first 3 months, maybe
Yeah.
was my regrouping time, because immediately after that, I did my
Mhm.
first, stream,
Yeah.
and that kind of like put me back into a state of feeling like I am being needed, even though things were at a standstill.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I had to regroup, and wasn't, thinking about creating, but still, you,
Yeah.
you, you got to
Yeah.
pull yourself from that, because if you don't,
Stay stuck. Stay
yes,
stuck. Well, I
yes,
do want to talk about that Twitch show because and obviously as a performer, it's one thing to watch DJs, play records, but as a performer, to watch your Twitch show and see the level of production and care put into creating an experience. Like it was the first time watching, and I watched other singers do uh, live shows on different social media platforms, but I literally, with your show, felt like I was in a concert. Like it was really well crafted and well thought out. What inspired you to even say, you know what, I'm going to do a Twitch show? Because a few performers was like, I'm not ready to perform, in front of a computer screen. I don't know.
um, first of all, I have to give thanks to, I have one of the best management teams there is. A lot of people don't give their management credit, but I give mine credit because it's deserving. And his name is Mr. Tony Allen, but we call him Walker Bear. And me and him, we just sat down and just started. He has a creative mind
Mhm.
already. He reminds me a lot of Mr. Clarence Savant. And if you know who he is, then you'll
Yes.
understand, the comparison, because his mind is always thinking of how can we better something. And then with my mind and, my outlandish things of wanting to do stuff, we just got together, then our team. Once we got our thoughts together, then we
Mhm.
brought on our team
Yeah.
who, was instrumental in transmitting it, making things work behind the scenes that a lot of people didn't see,
Hmm.
and it was really live. It wasn't
Yeah.
pre-recorded and then, placed for you guys,
Right.
it was live, right? So if I made a mistake, oh well.
Right. 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 And that, that's not easy to do, especially when you're doing it virtually. You know what I mean? Because you're not able to feel that reciprocal energy, that you get when you're looking at an audience. What was the difference for you performing a virtual event versus being live and in person?
Okay, so for me, to be honest, there really wasn't a difference.
Mm.
And I'll explain why. I took up acting, which is part of why the show is so not just dramatic, but it's so, convincing and entertaining and interactive because
Hmm.
I learned to be that way.
Yeah,
Not to
yeah.
mention, I naturally, I tend to be a people person anyway.
Hmm.
So I just thought of, because I knew it was going to be on Twitch. I knew that my Shy family, first of all, was going to be there showing up and showing
That's
out.
right.
And I know how, SNL be moving at night. I
Yes.
kind of knew, you know, that I would have the energy. And then, my crew, my band members,
Hmm.
them being there. Nobody else was there but just the crew. But
Yeah.
just them being there, they kind of gave a good energy for me to
Me too.
perform
Your
as
band
if
is amazing.
all of y'all was
Amazing.
there. Oh, Vertical Current, listen, they my
Whew.
guys. I love them to death. I love them to death.
I just
So it's
remember
kind
the
of
chat
easy.
was going bananas even before you even came on stage because they were jamming and we were like, "Oh my god." It was the perfect lead up. So by the
Yeah.
time you came in, that's why I said it really felt like like a live and in person concert, and that to me just struck me as so interesting because it's something that not everybody has been able to figure out how to do in a way that was very engaging and very where you're still very much connected. And you've been, very active on the Twitch streams with
Oh, I
SNL,
love it.
Sanitize Your Soul, and you and I both had songs that came out and things that were released during this time. And like I've
Yeah.
told people, it's been kind of cool for me to interact with people very differently with a new release. Did you have the same experience releasing music virtually?
Yes, because it seemed to reach even more people that it would not normally reach
Yeah, yeah,
collectively. You know what
yeah,
I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
okay, some people, I know a few friends in Japan that are DJs. They will spin some of my stuff, and so their crew will know about it. Or
Hmm.
my crew that's in London, they'll spin something. But to collectively have people, be exposed to music that I'm releasing during a whole pan knee is like, and being able to converse with them was like the
Yes.
second part, because
Yeah.
that's what makes the connection. A lot of times the people can't connect to the artist because we're on the road, or if we're performing in big venues, all these people,
Hmm.
we can't really connect to everyone that we want to connect to
Right.
on Twitch and on all these social platforms that we had during this time. We were able to do that. I was able to connect with Dion Cole through a
I know.
pandemic of,
Yeah.
under normal circumstances, for real. It's like
Right.
one in a million chance that I may have met him,
Yeah.
and it be authentic. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, this brother was playing my music before I started coming to, Disco Sunday Fellowship.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
A
just like,
friend told me. A friend was like, "You better get to Instagram. Dion is playing your songs." And I was like,
yes,
"Dion Cole? Like what?"
yes. Your
So
song,
that's
my
been pretty
song,
dope.
Ursa's song, a
Yep.
lot of people's songs. Yes,
Yep. Yep. And even how Ursula and I met was very, organic through the internet, through the
right.
internet. It's just people had no idea that I was such a long time fan. So to be able to connect and really click with her, like I
Yeah,
told her, I said we cousins now. So, and
that's
I
my
don't know if
boy.
she told you. She said I
Yes,
want the three of us to do something together. I was like, oh, that would be nice. I was like, that would be super dope. She was
yes,
like,
she
yeah, I
shared
think
that
three
with me.
powerhouses. She spoke
Yes,
so highly of you, and talked about just how your energy, your positive energy, just brings her up. And she was like, normally I have the resting face, like, but when
she
Lydia,
do. She do. She'll take no tea for the fever. But I'm gonna tell you, she is a strong woman, and I am very honored. And this is no cap. I'm very honored to know her and have been her friend for way over 25 years,
Wow. Yeah.
almost as
And I
old as
just
they
think she
come.
is an amazing gift, just a gift. And I'm
Yeah,
so, and I think this about all my favorites, you included. It's not just your talent. You have a beautiful voice. I always tell people there are people who can sing and there are people who have anointed voices. And those voices make you feel something.
yeah,
And that's what your music has always done to so many. And we've talked about this even when you were getting ready to do Chosen Few,
yeah,
how people they'll be in tears sometimes listening to your songs while dancing. It's a joy that you're able to bring out in people. What does knowing that effect that you have on people, your music has on people, what does that do for you personally? How does that make you feel?
it humbles me. It humbles me
Mm,
because I used to take my craft very for granted.
mm,
Didn't mean the double negative like that, but I used to take my craft for granted. And oh, I can sing, and I didn't realize one, the lyrics that we write or sing, the way we present ourselves to the people, you know, you don't know what you do for them.
yeah.
And if you do have the opportunity to, have conversations with some, you're educated from them.
Hmm.
So when I see this, when I hear this, and because I'm being told like some really serious things, like people are telling me this song healed me. Like I don't have cancer no more because this song helped me get through a very bad time, or my child is autistic and they never talked. And after all these years, we've been trying to get my child to even and they're
Right.
saying something because your song brought them to a place. So it tells me that I am in touch with the people when I write,
Mm,
and that I should always stay in touch and in tune to the people. I'm not that great
hmm.
as a human, but I strive to do what's right, and I strive to present that through the music. So if these people are getting that message, then it's very humbling. It
Yeah.
really is. And I really can't understand how folk develop these big heads the way they do, because they should always be thinking, oh my God, tomorrow my stuff, I could be
That's right.
everybody can stop listening to me. If you, I think, and it's not being paranoid, but I think if you stay in that mindset, and not
Absolutely.
in a negative way, but in a way that will keep you feeling
Humble.
humility every
Yeah.
time someone comes to you. So it's humility that I feel,
Yeah.
when I have people tell me all these ranges of emotions that they feel through my
Hmm.
music.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's a gift. Like I've told people, I haven't been doing it as long, but I just always feel grateful because not too many people are allowed to share their thoughts, their feelings. Where not too many people can pour that out and have it connect to another individual where
right.
it's impactful. So to be able to do that with our words, with our voices, I just would never take it for granted because not everybody gets that opportunity. You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
and it's a double-edged sword. Like I tell people, on one end I love to pour out all the good that I feel, but I also at times want to express the vulnerable and the fact that, like you said, I'm not perfect but I'm human,
right,
and
right.
being able to share that. And as an artist, I've had to kind of slowly grow into being comfortable peeling back those layers. You mentioned that you studied acting, and I'm a child of an actor. My dad's an actor,
Okay.
and he encouraged me to do the same because he felt like when you're on stage in theater, because that's his fave. He said theater is one of the rawest ways of expressing because it's right there in the moment and there are no second takes. You
Yep.
know, so do you feel like your background and training with theater helped you even in allowing yourself to be more vulnerable as an artist?
I would have to say yes, because I've been in training with this for as long as my mom, when she saw the spark, she
Mm-hmm.
had me in the school for it. I went to school after school for it. Then
Mm-hmm.
I also took up the acting and I played an instrument. So to be open, I've been taught to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
And now, being a little older than I was, I don't want to say I'm set in my ways, because there's always room for improvement. There's
Right.
never too old for a change. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But in that, being open and honest, I don't think that's not a trait that should
Mm-hmm.
change.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't mind being that way. It's scary
Yeah.
sometimes, because people will take advantage of you because of that. And then when you
Mm-hmm.
show other sides of yourself, now you're being convicted
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and you're being called a phony and you're being
Oh,
called.
I
So
know.
I try not to, I try to stay very neutral, and I try to keep myself out of the way. Not
Yeah.
because I think I'm better than anybody, but I think it's just better for me to stay out of the way and
Mm-hmm.
just be there and show up when I have to.
Now, when you're writing, and I ask everybody this, you talk about, this, the capturing the humanness, the essence of being human. When you're writing, how are you, I'm trying to see how I want to say this. How do you capture that as an artist? The human experience, just day to day. If you're like me, you're very observant. I'm observant of people, and I watch a lot. And I always tell people, if I feel like I can't write, or I don't have, if it's stuck, I get out, because I feel like, oh, you're not living right now. You too much in your own head. You just need to get out. What is your process of allowing that stuff to just kind of flow through the pen?
Through prayer,
Mm,
because I write from a different place. Like, the things I desire sometimes require me to be away from everyone. So
mm,
self love, self peace, those are things that help me to write, and for the people,
mm-hmm,
because I don't no longer try to put myself in that place, but
mm-hmm.
I watch TV. I
Yeah,
read the things that people are speaking of, and what they're tired of or what makes them happy. People are always expressing themselves, and now I guess my inspiration comes from the way people express themselves online,
yeah,
because
yeah, yeah.
and so prayerfully I write, because once again it goes back to, you have to be careful in the things that you write. If you don't care, that's one thing, but
Yeah.
I tend to have a heart that cares,
Mm-hmm.
and I would never want someone saying, oh, well, I started doing drugs when I was listening to Lady Alma,
Yeah.
or
Right.
my first, when I lost my virginity, I was listening to that Lady Alma song. Like, I don't ever want to be coined up with negativity. And
Mm-hmm.
so if that's the case, I have to, live my life positively.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Negative things are going to happen,
Yeah.
but, it's the greater of the two that cancels out the other. And so if
Mm-hmm.
I have positivity in my heart, it's going to cancel out that negativity. And so
Yeah.
that's where I
I like,
get, my
in the
inspiration.
stillness, in the
Yeah,
stillness.
and very much so, and prayerfully.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. And with 2020, there was a lot of negative. A lot of negative, and not just with the pandemic. You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
With George Floyd and Breonna, like, I felt overwhelmed. And I told Ursula this. There was a moment where I had so much. emotion based on what I was seeing. And it was compounded by the fact that I'm a journalist, so I'm covering this. So I felt like I was overwhelmed with it. And to get things out, that's kind of how Love Manifesto was birthed. You know what I mean? As far
Mhm.
as just, I just needed to think about love and it's something that was good and positive. How did you write through so much negative in 2020 without getting caught up in all the bad? You know what I mean? How are you able to write from a place of joy?
When it's something that you want and you want it for others,
Mm,
you tune out the noise.
yeah,
So the same news you was watching, I was watching that. But
yeah.
when it got too overwhelming for me, I removed myself. I even went as far as saying that I don't even want to capture a song
Hmm.
about any of that, about COVID, about the hatred that that was already there, but really showed its face. I
Yeah.
don't want to be reminded, even though it's in history and it's a part of
Hmm.
history.
Right.
Um, I don't have to be a part of that. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? And so that's how I was able to write positivity. Plus, I'm in a home where it's nothing but love, and I'm not even capping,
Mm,
as the young people say. I'm not capping. It's so much love in this house, and it's my ancestors is in this home. You know what I mean? I think of my mother, and I think of my aunt, and I think of the people that were beautiful folk that we lost.
hmm.
Sadness, but they still were the ones that kind of kept me from
Yeah.
becoming so super overwhelmed, because
Hmm.
I'm an empathist. I
Yeah.
do empathize with a lot of things and a lot of people's problems,
Hmm.
but I'm starting to learn that, especially since we're going to be getting back to a place of performing again in front of folks and stuff of that nature, have to take some time for myself, have to
That's right.
have self-care, because if I don't self-care and self-love me, I can't love or care about anybody else.
Yeah.
And that's how I was able to stay in that positivity, because one, I just wouldn't, I just, when it got too much,
Hmm.
I just would remove myself and
Yeah.
take a minute and then regroup and then think of the things that I really want in life. Peace is what I want. So
That's
if
it.
that's what I want, I'm not going to be around people that's going to really, make me want to
Disturb that.
argue and
Yeah. Yeah.
not be in my life, because that's what I want. And I desire that for other people. I desire that for you. I desire that for the whites. I desire it for the blacks. I desire it
Hmm.
for the world. Like, I want world peace. That is
Yeah.
what I desire. So
Yeah.
that's how I handle, those things. And it is not easy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be honest with you. It sounds like it the way I say it, but baby, it is not.
You
It
know,
is
I
not.
you know I overstand because you reached out to me when I had a moment where it just I was just as a journalist was very overwhelmed, and I'm learning that the boundaries that I have to place, even with the nature of what I do, I have to put up boundaries to protect my peace and to take those moments to
Yes.
shut it all down because with us sometimes you want to capture everything as it's happening with journalists, but it people like you who are empathetic, who could just see something wasn't quite right and just reach out and be like, sis, you good, like you need anything, like it goes a long way. But I'm the same. I'm learning to take more time to
Yes.
be still, and like I tell people, in my stillness is where I'm able to really hear God, because
Yes.
my mind is always like this and thinking of next projects and next
Right.
stories. So it is important for me, and I've told my kids this, that I've made this a thing. By a certain time I need silence, and I need my time to just connect with God and connect back to myself. I think it's extremely important,
Yes.
not just as artists, but as people, But I always say with the artists, particularly because our brains are always thinking.
Going.
Yeah.
Even when we sleep. Even when we
Right.
sleep. That's why we wake up and be like, I'm so tired. What did I do?
Your mind was doing like this
Yes. The
the
whole
whole
time we
time.
sleep.
Yep. And I'll wake up with an idea or, things. Terry has called me late and been like, hey, what you think about this? And I'm like, yeah, like, write something down. But I think that's a character trait with creative people. But it takes skill
Yes.
and a lot of practice to learn how to be still. And,
Yes.
I think that's one of the greatest lessons I learned in 2020. Sitting down and being still is okay. You know,
So we
it's
ain't always
okay.
got to be in the streets, do we? Right?
Right.
Ah,
I said, and even now, I've been like, you know what? I'm gonna tip
I
on
think
out.
I'm
But
stay
it's
on
been
in.
with boundaries though. Like even
Right.
when we were at the beach, everyone was in a cluster, and my girlfriends and I went to the sand, and it was just us with our wine, and we enjoyed the music, and it was great. It those boundaries. I wanted to connect. 2020 allowed me to connect with friends
Right.
in very real ways. That we, sometimes you get so busy. So having these smaller get togethers or even Zoom chats or whatever allow me to connect. And same with Twitch, it allowed me to stay connected with my house family.
Yes.
Not just as an artist, but as just as a lover of the music. And I think
Right.
it's so cool because when you started coming in the chats, I could see people who loved your music, but we're still fans. So it's just like, oh, Lady Alma's in the chat. The same way we would be if Dion Cole came. We're like, oh, Dion's
Yeah.
here. But to be able to connect with your audience in that kind of way where they're playing your song and they can literally say, oh, Alma, this is the line I love the most, or this is what
Right.
connected with me. Did you feel, because I felt that with people. It was something that I wouldn't get if we were
If I was
100%
out.
open. They
Right.
can't, people can't come up to you like that and share
Right.
that all the time. So I thought that was really dope.
I
One of
did
the good
too.
things.
Yes.
One of the good things that came
Yes.
out of all of this.
I have to agree.
So you wound up doing another Twitch show,
Yes.
another virtual show, which
Yes.
of course we rushed to it again. Yes,
Y'all
three.
came to all three of them.
Well,
Chicago
Chicago
was,
loves you to death.
and I love Chicago, and
Yeah.
y'all really, really, y'all made other cities feel away. Like, well, what's that thing with Shy? We here. I know y'all here, but they really here.
It's been that way. I remember at the Chosen Few when you performed, I was looking like the crowd was into it, but on the stage, I was like, where are all these? Everybody, I was like, I want to talk to Alma too. Because we did the interview and I was like, I want to actually,
Yeah.
and I couldn't get to that thing. And I'm like, I'm pressed. Like, I still can't get on the stage. But they came, they were here, I need to see you. And you gave them a show.
Ugh,
I'm so happy I was able to see it. But when you perform, and like I said, it's just an energy and a spirit that comes through. That's very, it just makes you feel good. And I think that's what we love about house music anyway. It's just something that allows you just to, no matter what, whether it's on Twitch, whether it's in person, the music has just allowed us those moments of just feeling good
yes,
and feeling free and feeling peaceful and feeling joy.
yes,
And I think that's
yes.
what you do as an artist.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's why I call you a game changer. Game changers are able to
Ooh,
pivot.
I can't believe it. You called me a game changer. You know what? And just to add to that honor, I wanted to express it because Philly, Philadelphia wasn't recognizing Black Music Month.
Wow.
June as being Black Music Month.
Yeah.
And so our pioneer, Miss Deanna Williams, who has been seriously a pioneer here for Black music, she finally got her resolution, and I was a part, my name was in that resolution,
Oh, that's
along
dope.
with so many other people, Kenny Gamble, Carol Riddick, Lauren Talese, just so many artists. So for you to then just call me a game changer,
Hmm.
that's I'm a
To
little reclap
see,
right now, but
yeah, but to see people go through so many changes, professionally, out of their control, and be able to elevate, you know, it's not an easy thing. It's not an easy thing to do. And I wanted to honor those that I feel not only did that, but also gave us something to get through a very trying year, and music, I think if anybody has figured it out, music is incredibly powerful. And to be able to give that gift when people were going through and struggling and isolated in their own homes or whatever, to be able to give that is an amazing thing. And you did that, and you did it beautifully. You did it beautifully, not just on Twitch, but with your new releases that came out.
yay!
You put out some incredible music in
Thank
2020
you,
and
thank
continue
you.
to, even one,
Yeah.
with one I own. So
Yes, yes. And we have a lot of stuff that we're about to do. I'm excited for that. Which once again shows my ties to Chicago, and just amazing to that be just states music. Like I go to Africa, and that's
mm,
their that's their top music, and then it's R&B and rap and all of
right.
that. You go to some places, and that's the staple music. And so I couldn't think of any states in the beginning. And then
Mm,
I was educated a while back. Yeah, Chicago, that's a house. That's a house city. Like the thugs jam the house. The
they sure do.
kids jam the house. Grandma jam the house. It's just like, what? It's not just step music there. No, that's just one thing. Everybody likes house. The whites
Yeah,
love house. The blacks love house. And it's like,
yeah,
what? And
yeah,
so to see it, it's like, ooh. So I'm very honored to be working with Terry,
yeah.
and DJ Immaculate.
Hmm.
And I'm just excited to see, what's going to come up out of that.
Yeah. So what as we're getting ready to kind of open up again, what are your plans?
Well, right now, I'm only doing outdoor events because I am not comfortable yet to be
Hmm.
indoors. Um, People were very irresponsible last year.
Okay.
And this thing is not over,
It is not. It
even
is
though
not.
they're opening things back up. And I get it, they want to straighten out the economy and get people back to
Hmm.
living. However, you want to make sure too that things are all right. And so I am willing to do outdoor events, with
Hmm.
limitations, but for at least for a year,
Yeah,
at
yeah,
least,
yeah.
and
Well, it's
maybe
summer, so it's the perfect time to be
it is
outside.
all the way. You know what? And the way the weather is acting, all the way up to October, you can do outdoor
Right,
events now.
right.
It'd be like
That's
80
right.
degrees and it's October 29th. It's like, what?
That's true. The global warming is real right now. It's
Baby,
real
it is really real,
because it's blazing here right now. It is
Well, we were
blazing.
lucky today. We got a lot of rain, so it's 70. But we had a heat wave just last week. Just over the
Yeah.
weekend. Yep, in the 90s from Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Hmm.
Hmm. Well, to
So
wrap up, I want to ask you, what
yeah.
advice would you give to anyone, creatives or not, about how to push through when adversity or challenging times come? What advice would you give to people?
Well, I would like to say to anyone that is a creator of anything or into the music or arts or business, whatever, one, never give up. Never give up. Don't put time limits. It's good to make goals. It's good to do goals and set,
Yeah.
long and short term goals, but don't put a time limit on yourself. You never
No.
know your greatness. It could be in a short time, it could be take a lifetime for you to
Yeah.
become great. And then the
Yeah.
second thing I would advise is that you always know about what you're doing. You know,
Mm.
keep yourself educated. You can't know everything. It's there is no cap. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Sky is the limit, is what I'm really saying. And
Hmm.
the third thing I would say is when doing these things and you have others that are, helping you, show your appreciation to them
Mm. Hmm.
because you're only as great as the team that you have. And
That
if
is so
you
true.
don't appreciate your team, you're going to see your downfall.
That's
So,
right.
those are the advices that I would offer to
Mhm.
people who are doing what they do and love yourself.
Yeah.
Last
Amen.
and final thing is love yourself. Because my
I
girl
love it.
said love. And I
Yeah.
would say, this is my love manifesto.
You know what? I love it. I was on gig like Lady Alma like my song.
Like, I know I really love your song. And when one of my girlfriends, she has a head wrap and eyelash line, and she
Mhm.
had started doing videos at her shop to your
Yeah.
song. Like, I turned her on to your song. She was like, "Who is this? Who is this?" I was like, "Oh, that's my girlfriend Danny. She sings it when she goes by Black Widow. It's called Love Manifesto DJ
You
Immaculate."
tagged me in it. Remember on IG, and
Yes,
I was that's how I met
yes,
Ursula, and I was
yes.
just like, oh my god, like I was just I love seeing things like that. I just
That's a
like I
powerful
said,
song. It's a
and
powerful song.
words, we I'm in love with words, and I know you are too, but I know it's power behind them. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to put something out
Well,
that I
thank you.
connected to.
Thank you for
So
that
thank
embodiment
you.
of work.
Thank
Seriously, thank
you.
you.
I
Yeah, I
appreciate
really,
that.
really appreciate your this interview, Miss Danny.
Well,
Thank
this is
you
our first
very,
time
very much.
interviewing like virtually. We did a
I
phone
know, because we was
with
on the
Joseph.
phone the last time. Yeah, yeah. And thank you for a callback, because sometimes if you're not a good interviewee, they will
Ugh,
not call you back.
okay.
So thank you.
No, we had a good interview the first time getting ready for Chosen Few. So
Yes, yes,
I
we
was,
did.
and at some point, I'm really hoping we can actually meet face to face.
Yes,
I
yes, we
tried during
will.
the picnic. I really
We
did.
will. I promise that. I promise that we will.
So if there's an outdoor event that we are blessed to see you, I saw you're performing, and I was just like, ah, can I get a flight? Can I get a flight? So I'm
Yeah, and
working
I
on
got
it.
another one. I got another one. I did one last weekend in North Carolina outdoors. That was
Uh,
my very first one. I was scared as I don't know what, but it felt good. And then I'm getting ready to do one the 16th of July at Sierra
okay.
Green Rooftop.
Ooh, that's to say, I like a rooftop.
It's a beautiful
You
thing. It's
know
gonna
what?
be
We
a
might have to
beautiful
get the
thing.
Chicago crew to take a little road trip.
Yeah, might have to come on up to Philadelphia.
That
Yeah,
would be
yeah.
super dope. Because we come deep, so
I
we
know,
might have.
I know. That's what I like.
We might have to get that going. I might mention that on this week's SNL and be like, "What y'all think? Let's get us a
Just
little caravan going."
look, I'll come after you mention this so they don't say how much Alma pay Danny to do that.
Well, I appreciate you so much.
No problem,
I just
baby.
love your energy and your spirit. But I'm so happy you were able to talk to me
Oh,
today. So we're gonna get this out because I did bring it up during my game changers with Terry, and people were like, "Who's next?" And I was like, "Lady Alma," and they were like, "Oh!"
ah,
So yeah, we hadn't talked yet, and I was like, Lady Alma. So
You know,
hopefully.
Daddy, I love you. That was a miscommunication. Plus, I had the link. We didn't have the link the last time, but I did have the link this time. Thank you very
Yes,
much,
yes,
though.
yes.
I
I'm glad.
appreciate
I'm
it, though.
glad. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend.
You
Enjoy
too,
yourself.
sweetie. You too.
All right.
Enjoy your quiet time, the little bit that you got before the kids come back home.
Amen. I am. I'm about to enjoy that stillness right now.
Take it
Right
easy,
now.
sweetheart.
Take care. Love you to death.
Love you, baby.
All right.
Peace.
Bye bye.
Be sure to check out Lady Alma at the 2021 Chosen Few Virtual Festival, happening this Saturday, July 3rd. For tickets, please visit chosenfewdjs.com. Join me this Friday as we enjoy another conversation with a game-changing artist, Chosen Few DJ and producer Mike Dunn. This is Black Widow, and I thank you for joining me for another episode of The Game Changers. See you soon.